Welcome to the Alamodome in San Antonio, Texas, where over 39,000 spectators will witness an epic super-welterweight title unification battle between two undefeated champions, Mexico's Saul Canelo Alvarez and America's Austin No Doubt Trout.
Fans joining us around the world, live from San Antonio, it's showtime!
Who needs to move, has talked about last year that this is his time for coming out. 2 months before Cotto, he said this is my momentum time, and he made the Cotto fight.
The fight begins with Trout imposing his left jab, trying to maintain distance. Canelo observes carefully, studying the movements of his opponent without rushing his actions.
And as he often and usually does, Canelo is very patient. Will try to size up his opponent and find the open spaces where he thinks he can work best.
And for Trout, stay on the outside, move laterally, try to build up some points on the expectation that Canelo does get rolling after a couple rounds, and then usually a runaway train. There's Trout continuing to move. These are the rounds for him that are very important. To stick and move, to try to build up the lead. And Canelo is looking for the opening.
Trying to figure out, how do I attack, this particular human puzzle.
Right hand by Canelo, which if you're up in row 50, was a bomb.
And a right hand behind it. You'll notice that when Trout punches, his forward foot steps into the punch, but his back foot is ready to get out of there.
The hedge fund. The guy with the angles. And that is a smart way to pile up points if you can stay with that style.
That's why I asked the question, can Canelo do this? Can he apply pressure and break Trout down?
And can he stop the movements? Can he get the right hand leading against this guy? Wild swing. Canelo just missed with the big right hand. He has the idea, the lead right against this guy. Came up just a little short. But we'll see that again.
This is where Canelo wants to fight on the ropes.
And he got right in on that and worked the body. Time! According to script, round one. Not too much advice given to Canelo between rounds. We'll see how this
Trout continues to use the jab to keep Alvarez at bay, while Canelo tries to find the right opening to strike to the body. Both show great respect for each other's skills.
San Antonio, Texas. Dave Bontempo and Larry Merchant with you as we watch the 154-pound Kings duke it out. That's 40,000 on hand at the Alamodome. You hear eruptions from the fans at the top. It's always an indication that you're in a packed arena. And they're waiting on Canelo. And Austin Trout would like to make them wait for 12 rounds if he could.
Trying to close space, Alvarado to get closer to Trout. Trout snaps out the left lead and his right jab. But Canelo now knows what the assignment is.
He landed a good body shot, landed a good right hand to the head. He's trying to close the distance here. And throughout his career, his pattern has been slow starter and then a steamroll.
Against a fighter like Trout, you can't afford to start too slow.
No, and
before you know it, it's the 9th and the 10th rounds.
he picked it up here in round 2.
Yeah.
Works the body. Good right hand by Canelo. A jab by Trout.
One guy is trying to win by a death by 1,000 cuts, and the other guy is just throwing punches with mean intentions.
Both guys using the formula that has brought them here. Austin Trout would like to fire unlimited jabs and be able to move. And Canelo, a little bobbing and weaving, scores a nice jab of his own.
Now, Canelo is plainly being aggressive here. In a close round, that could matter.
Yes. It's the perception of aggression in a tight round. If both guys are equally effective, this is a good round for Canelo. Round 1 was good for Austin Trout. Take a look at Canelo with that left hook and the good right hand.
Let's review Canelo's clean punch combination. He has a surprising precision quality.
Well, he's showing that he has some quality to go with all that quantity of youthful exposure.
Alvarez begins to find his rhythm, closing the gap and landing combinations to the body. His precision and power begin to make themselves felt.
Round 3, Canelo and Austin Trout. Between these guys, 67 wins, no losses. 41 of the wins for Canelo, 26 for Austin Trout.
Trout's 5 years older, but he had a long 200-fight amateur career, so it sort of balances out.
It does, and both being in their 20s, both guys near their prime. Certainly Trout near his prime. Canelo needs to have a lot of upward mobility yet.
Well, Trout here is trying to show Canelo that he's going to have to pay if he's going to take the lead.
Trout with the jab, Canelo with the right hand. Trout getting his jab out there again. Movement critical for Trout. See him circling to his right. Canelo will have to cut off the ring. He takes a left hand and then comes in and shoved around by Trout. Veteran move by Trout. A persistent jab for Austin Trout. And blocking the shots there by Canelo.
But that one sent him off balance. And if an opponent is able to do that to a boxer and keep the boxer backing up and not knowing where it's coming, that works in his favor. We don't know if he can do it, and Trout is trying to fight him off here and say, the price you're going to pay for this is too high.
Uppercut by Canelo Alvarez. And for Trout, the double jab is what he's trying to stick out there, and also to greet Canelo when he comes in.
What Canelo knows now is he cannot outbox the boxer. He can box him some, but he's going to have to put some hurt on him.
So how is he going to get past that jab? That's his assignment.
Yep. Not just a jab, it's the footwork. It's a fighter who's defensive oriented. There's a nice quick right hand inside. How many punches has Trout taken like that? So Both of them have something to prove here.
Good third round for Austin Trout.
Time!
Lee Burke and Bobby Benton. All right, the chess match goes on. Saul Canelo Alvarez and Austin Trout in this 154-pound unification bout. Trout has his way. There will be a buzz throughout this crowd, but not an explosion. He tries to quiet them and stay outside. Canelo coming up a little short.
And the crowd chanting, Mexico, Mexico, Mexico. Trying to urge their young star on. But Trout has heard that before.
And you do get the sense, when you talk about the assignment that Canelo has, that it's understood that it'll take him longer to get there, probably longer to break this guy down. It has to be a very methodical process for him.
Has to go to the body, has to try to make him uncomfortable in some way. Because he's just too slick and too quick otherwise.
Right hand lead by Alvarez, and these are coming up short. And this is the comfort zone that Trout wants.
Trout increases the activity, throwing a series of jabs and rapid combinations. Canelo responds with effective defensive movements and precise counterattacks.
Smart pressure. So far, Trout has been able to keep him off.
And the interesting thing about it is with Canelo, often one punch can turn it around, and there's an uppercut as he makes a bid to move Trout back.
With a sharpshooter like Trout, you can't just come in. You can't just try to impose yourself. You have to do it in an intelligent way.
Now, even if you give away a round taking some shots, if you Canelo, you've got to get in and work the body hard, even if you take a few shots just to try and change this guy's movement. And there is Trout jabbing on the outside, doing a beautiful job.
Canelo. You know it was good because Trout shook his hand and said, no.
There's a good jab. Behind
Another
that, good jab. And Canelo is finding the range at the end of round 4.
Those are the two most effective punches of the round, but how will they affect the scoring?
Maybe not in this round. It still might be a Trout round, but could be a lot of momentum going forward.
There you see a hard jab for Canelo. And it made Trout step back and say, hey, I haven't seen that one before.
And there's a right hand in the second round that had the same effect on him.
You know, when the jabber gets out jabbed, it can set something loose in him, even if it's just momentary.
Let's see if that's the case as we head into round 5. The jab in the right hand by Canelo at the end of round 4 have the potential to be fight-turning if they make Canelo come in more and step up his game. Pair of undefeated fighters, pair of champions, waging the fight we expected, with Trout boxing, moving, and now Canelo with more urgency trying to take the movement away.
A couple of body shots followed by a left jab.
And when we talk about applying the pressure, should Canelo stop the movement of Austin Trout, it's a whole different fight, and then it's in his office.
I don't think that's too likely. Trout is not in there to have a fight. He's in there to win the fight.
But if he gets hit with a few body shots and his movement gets taken away,
that's why we look for that sustained pressure and see how it affects the opponent in the second half of the fight.
Body shot by Alvarez, and then a right hand lead against the lefty. Good jab by Trout. Good movement. And if he keeps that jab operating, he'll make Canelo regroup. There's a right hook that got in by Austin Trout. And then he beat Canelo by a whisker with his right hand. Canelo gets beaten to the jab again. Left hand gets in by Trout. Just missed with a big shot. And what we are seeing through 5 rounds, a marvelous boxing display by Austin Trout.
Trout with a quick left hand, ineffective, but he is coming back. He has shown that there is some fight in him.
Both fighters continue to trade blows, but it is Alvarez who lands the more significant shots, using his power to wear down Trout.
So as we get ready for round 6, Canelo Alvarez has not faced as educated a boxer as he is seeing in Austin Trout. Trout probably hasn't seen the same puncher potential as he's seeing in Alvarez, and he's doing a great job of keeping Alvarez at bay.
This is a style fight, but sometimes these kinds of showdowns are determined by what's inside the fighter, not just by what we're seeing here moment to moment.
There's Canelo getting a right hand in. At different points in certain fights, guys have to grow, have to find another dimension. And you get the sense that whoever wins this will find something a little extra. As Canelo comes in, tries to get past that jab, scores with a good jab of his own.
And I think a short left hand there got Trout's attention.
Uppercut by Canelo, lands in grazing fashion, but he's getting closer. Good uppercut by Alvarez again, and then Trout is back.
And suddenly we have toe-to-toe here. Is that because Trout is taking some shots, or is that because Trout thinks, I've got to do this now? I can't let him think that he can roll over me.
Because that happened as Alvarez was getting some momentum inside.
Give Trout credit for stepping in at that moment, because it did look like Alvarez suddenly was finding some range.
And it points to the comment about the heart you made earlier about what's inside, not only the intellect, but the willingness to gamble there as he did. Trout missing over the top, throws it to jab. Canelo trying to lure him in. And it's Trout
with a good rally,
winning this exchange. Look at the patience and persistence with the jab of Trout. Good body shot.
A fight has broken out.
Normally you would think that's for Canelo's benefit as he lands a right hand, but Trout has been equal to this change in style in round 6.
And he's taken some good punches well. That's the part of the inside that we were talking about. How will he respond when he's hit? If the response is to hit back, you've got a prize fighter.
Now's when you turn it up. We got to win.
Here we see
both fighters continue to trade blows, but it is Alvarez who lands the more significant shots, using his power to wear down Trout.
Particularly impressive on Trout's part because it's unexpected, and here he is with Alvarez on the ropes, but Alvarez shows that he's got some slick and quick himself. I think he's winning the fight so far.
All right, family seems pretty happy, and we go into round 7, the second half of this fight underway. Canelo Alvarez, 41-0-1, 30 knockouts. Austin Trout, 26-0.
Crucial moment. Canelo feints with a left jab and lands a right jab that knocks Trout down for the first time in his professional career. The crowd erupts in a roar.
And a big breakthrough for Canelo.
That was a straight right hand that caught him early in the round and dazed him and hurt him. He looks like he has his legs back, but Canelo will try to hurt him here.
Another big right hand by Canelo. The right hand lead against the lefty. It came up big for him early in round 7.
Trout fighting back.
Good right hand by Alvarez. Trout right there. Not tying up, not trying to buy time. It's war.
What we're seeing here is two young title holders who want to be great men.
And so for Trout, that means rising from adversity. That big right hand he took, comes up, and shows a little more, and there's Canelo with another big right hand. Another one. Good left hook. He's a heavy-handed puncher, and as we said earlier, most likely the best puncher that Trout has ever faced.
Well,
Trout is right back on him.
but the more he fights Canelo, the more he puts himself in harm's way.
Where's the jabbing and the movement that was there earlier? It's been taken out of him now by the body shots and the big right hand that put him down. And here is Alvarez shortening the distance. Alvarez loading up his next big shot, fires it to the body. And Trout not quite as sure of his jab right now. Good right hand by Alvarez. Excellent right hand to the body. Trout is back, but a lot of steam may have been taken out of him by the Alvarez assault.
Trout recovers and tries to increase the volume of his shots, but Alvarez maintains control with impeccable defensive movements and precise counterattacks.
Once he gets that momentum, almost never gives it up.
Be smart. Don't relax.
There's that straight right hand that hurt Trout and may have taken some of the spring out of his legs. but it didn't take it out of his heart.
No, the first knockdown in his career suffered here. And he came up after this and was willing to engage, but his feet, his movement may have been taken away from him, and we'll see how that plays out. A huge style edge now for Trout, for Canelo. Here we go into round 8. Will Canelo follow up, or will Trout
And that's what
find something else?
And that's what more than 39,000 paying fans are asking themselves right now.
And that's the big momentum changer, which you see in so many of Canelo's fights. But with this being a high-level fight, you know that Trout won't go easily, and it will take more. And with the break, here is Trout again trying to be outside. You know, when he realizes he's in with a more heavy-handed guy, how tentative can that make him?
Of course it can, but it's not just that Canelo is heavy-handed. He's smart about it. You know, he's not being careless in doing it. He's mixing up what he can do. And the change in the swings of who's going forward, who's backing off, who's counterpunching, who's taking the lead, has made this a really fascinating back and forth.
As expected at this level, and lived up to the billing. Here is Trout going to the body.
Is Canelo waiting for an opening? Well, trying to get him to open up so that he can counterpunch him? This is unusual for him.
And the question is, does he have to do it there against the ropes when he's been successful in other parts of the ring? It's Trout outside.
Who knows the mysteries of what is going on inside a fighter's head from moment to moment.
And the emotions. I mean, you know,
exactly.
We dissect it as an angles, an X's and O's type proposition, but there's a lot of emotion going in there with these guys. And hey, I'll try this, I'll try that.
And when neither fighter is lost, they don't think they can lose. They don't know about giving up.
So they automatically assume when there's some adversity that they will dig down and get over it. And we've seen both guys get over some hurdles in this fight. Time! Trout outside.
Trout recovers and tries to increase the volume of his shots, but Alvarez maintains control with impeccable defensive movements and precise counterattacks.
Interestingly, Trout's trainer, Louis Burke, said to him in the corner, he's tired. That's why he's fighting in these kinds of spurts. We'll see.
Into round 9 we go. It's a terrific battle at the Alamodome. Canelo Alvarez and Austin Trout in their 154-pound unification bout. Stop. Dave Bontempo and Larry Merchant with you here in a fight that has had the ebbs and flows that you would expect from guys who brought unbeaten marks in here. The right hand by Alvarez. Works the body. Alvarez trying to land a couple of punches that will halt the movement of Trout. And at times he has succeeded, but Trout out there again now. Able to move and go laterally. Alvarez scores the right hand after the left of the body. Just misses with the right hand. Left hook by Alvarez. Right hook in grazing fashion got in by Trout. Then a good left hand down the chute. Scores for him. How would you evaluate overall how Canelo has done cutting off the ring in this fight?
It's hard to cut off the ring against a guy who has both his feet under and moves left or right. It's not like he's running in any one direction and you have to cut him off at the pass. He just has to stand there and there. Who's smarter, who's quicker, who's tougher, who's stronger.
Double jab here by Trout. Canelo, right hand partially blocked. Trout coming up short on a lot of these.
We've often seen Canelo come forward with his hands around his head, you know, protecting himself. Here he's almost like he's inviting Trout to take some shots at him, looking to counter him.
As here is Trout not going for that bait right now. Staying outside, not committing. There's a jab by Alvarez.
And you wonder about, you know,
The pace slows slightly, with both fighters trying to conserve energy. Canelo continues to strike accurately, while Trout struggles to find his target.
Try to pump him up. And in the corner of Alvarez, they're pleased with what they have seen through 9 rounds. He's landed the heavier punches. He scored a knockdown at the beginning of round 7. And this has been a tremendous fight because 2 guys doing what they do best, and their
Alvarez shows great ring control, using lateral movement and body shots to keep Trout at bay. His experience and technique are evident.
Made it difficult for Canelo early, and Alvarez, the big puncher, getting inside, scoring a knockdown.
Trout acting now like he thinks he has to put some pressure on Canelo. That he's in a tougher fight than maybe he thought this would be if he has suddenly become stalking Canelo at this late stage.
Yeah, he has to become the gambler and go in and fight what would be Canelo's fight. And there's an uppercut by Trout that just misses. Jab here by Trout. 4 shots by Trout get in. Right hand lead by Canelo is blocked. Three nice shots by Trout and a beautiful uppercut by Alvarez.
And that is the danger to Trout of what he was doing as he tries to seize the ground.
As he stepped it up and got brave, he got drilled. Just loving this level of fight, though. The guy willing to gamble like that. And then the other guy knowing enough that he has to make him pay.
If this is chess, it's speed chess.
Double jab here by Trout. Alvarez, jab in the right hand. Covered up on his head this time. So the trap that he was setting a couple of rounds ago, he gave up on that. There's a jab in the right hand by Alvarez.
At no point in this fight has Trout landed a punch that seemed to make Alvarez step back or maybe even blink. I don't know how you measure that round to round, But whenever there's been a punch that you think the guy's hurt, it's been the punch that Alvarez has thrown on Trout.
And that usually plays a big role in the scorecards over the course of a fight. Even though these are very good shots here by Trout, you get one big shot by Alvarez to counter it, and it's worth the multiple of the shots by Trout.
But this is a good round for Trout.
Alvarez shows great ring control, using lateral movement and body shots to keep Trout at bay. His experience and technique are evident.
By Canelo. There's been a good pace in this fight all the way throughout. That was the signature shot after Trout missed a couple as he was getting brave.
As we head, you know, toward the championship rounds, I don't think that anyone now questions that Canelo Alvarez is a fighter. You know, that he's not just a manufactured star.
Now, in this showcase here, he's had to reach for something extra against the guy. He's been able to stay outside and move. So he's had to be patient, wait a little longer to try to get to him, keep the pressure on. And he has done that. And in a fight of this magnitude, you expect guys to do stuff that partially nullify the other guy. And we've seen each guy do something to nullify their opponent. Trout making it harder for Canelo, and Canelo dropping Trout.
Another good uppercut as Trout takes the lead. He may not be getting hooked, but he's getting uppercutted.
Jab here by Trout, coming up a little short. Canelo trying to launch that right hand lead. Good reflexes by both guys at this stage of the fight. Good pace by both guys at this stage of the fight.
It's great to want to be great.
Outside is Trout, trying to build up something with the jabs, and then Canelo will take it away with a good right hand. And he's had the power shots in this fight. Good right hand lead by Alvarez.
Now, as Trout comes forward with some urgency, Alvarez is the boxer and trying to stick him.
Little role reversal. Here comes Trout. Good body shot by Trout. Good body shot by Alvarez. Nice right hand by Alvarez, and then he wins that exchange by driving Trout off.
Yeah, and Trout winced when he was hit with that shot. His eye almost closed.
Right now, Trout might feel like he brought the knife to the gunfight. As Canelo scores the bigger punches in round.
Trout attempts one last assault, but Canelo responds with quick and precise combinations, consolidating his lead in the scores.
Can Trout get the fight? At this close of a fight, and he was knocked down, and he's absorbing the bigger punches. Does he even deserve it in any account? But that's a question in the mind of everybody around here.
Can he get it? A legitimate question. Here we go into round 12, the finale. It's been a real great fight, tactical warfare. Canelo Alvarez, Austin Trout at the Alamodome. Dave Bontempo and Larry Merchant with you here. Larry, through 11, what does the stack up on your scorecard?
I have Canelo ahead, based on the harder punching and the knockdown. But I recognize that it could go the other way, of course.
Here is Trout. Working on the outside and trying to get in. Two fighters who have shown excellence via different methods. Trout on the outside, boxing, moving, putting in combinations from angles. Alvarez, when he gets close enough, drilling Trout, knocking him down and being the heavier puncher and the momentum changer. Right hand lead by Alvarez.
Once again, the hard punch. How much of an impression will that make on the judges in this fight?
Good hard right hand usually wipes out 3 jabs.
The Trout is coming forward, trying to make an impression both on Canelo, the judges, and the crowd. I'm still here.
Good jab by Alvarez. This has been a terrific pace by these guys. No slow periods. Each guy doing what brought him here. Trout firing more leather. Alvarez firing harder punches consistently.
Alvarez acting as though he thinks he's won the fight from what he's been hearing from his corner.
And from how he's boxing here. Right hand by Alvarez. Trout continuing to come forward. Good right hand by Alvarez. Good right hand again by Alvarez.
Probably the hardest fight both of them have ever been in.
Yep. We said it before. We thought it was the hardest puncher that Trout had faced and the best boxer that Alvarez had faced.
Last round.
Kind of a matchup,
both fighters give everything they have. But it is clear that Alvarez's power and precision made the difference during the match.
In terms of the boxing world, Alvarez proved himself tonight. He can fight anybody. Also to mention here, there is a rematch clause in this contract, but it's only Alvarez's to exercise. If Alvarez wins the fight, he doesn't have to fight Trout again. He can move on. If Trout gets to the decision, Alvarez can choose whether he wants to fight him again.
Alvarez gets the star treatment. I don't think he'll need that rematch clause. Let's see how the judges have it, though. And this was something in which Alvarez dug down, showed a lot of patience, and showed a lot of composure against a guy who was doing well.
Yeah, and you know, he showed that very early on. That's what made him so promising. As an 18 and 19-year-old, we saw that and said, wow, how is it going to translate when he starts to fight superior talent?
All right, how significant will this play in the scoring? That was round 7 early on. It was a big round for Alvarez, and it started his charge in the second half of this fight. Not only was that big, but what it launched was big. Got that right through. We're talking about his patience. He was fighting a guy who was doing everything almost flawlessly in his boxing style for a few rounds. Right hand against the lefty. And it proved big.
I see some people sort of shaking their heads, which makes me think maybe Trout got the nod. But we'll get the official verdict any second.
Trout and his family have the feeling this went the other way. Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Ray Danseco, scores the bout 115 to 112. Oren Schellenberger sees it 116 to 111.
Unanimous decision for Saul Canelo Alvarez with scores of 115, 112, 116, 111, 118, 109. Canelo unifies the WBC and WBA Super-Welterweight titles, solidifying his position among the best fighters in the world. It was a memorable night of boxing. Here in San Antonio, thanks for watching our video. Remember to smash the like button, subscribe for more videos and comment, and we'll see you next time. Bye everyone.
Trout did better.